The preceding commentary does not necessarily reflect the views of the staff and management of WBCA or the Boston Neighborhood Network. If you would like to express another opinion, you can address your comments to Boston Neighborhood Network, 3025 Washington Street, Boston, Massachusetts, 02119. To arrange a time for your own commentary, you can call WBCA at 617-708-3215 or email radio@bnnmedia.org.
You've tuned in to Urban Empowerment Today, the show where stories of resilience, struggle, and triumph echo across our airwaves. I'm your host, Deborah Shariff, and this is more than radio. It's a movement. From the streets to the classrooms, from the elders to the rising youth, our voices matter. Together we lift each other higher and rewrite the narrative of our time. Stay with us. The conversation starts now. Family, welcome to Urban Empowerment Today. I'm your host, Deborah Shariff, along with my co-host, Linda Solomon. And tonight, we're not sugarcoating anything. We're pulling back the mask off the machine, exposing how a handful of elites have created systems of control to keep 8 billion people distracted, divided, sick, and powerless. But here's the good news. Once you see the system, you can outsmart it. Once you understand the pattern, you can build your own. And once you reclaim your power, you can live free, healthy, and awake. And next up, my co-host, Linda Solomon.
Good evening, Deb. I'm excited to be talking about this, to be sharing this topic. And so good evening and welcome to all our listeners tuning in from near and far. Welcome to Urban Empowerment Today, the voice of the people and the pulse of truth. I'm your co-host, as Deb mentioned, and today we're diving deep into the mind of one of the most provocative, fearless, and system-challenging thinkers of our time, Dr. Shriver. And you might ask, who is Dr. Shriver? Well, he's a scientist, an inventor, an engineer, and a truth teller. What do you think, Deb?
Oh, goodness. Dr. Shriver really pulled the mask off these elites, these oligarchs, in terms of really having the public understand in a very simplistic way of how this system works. And it's not just, as many may believe, just one family or a couple of families or a couple of corporations. It is a whole system. So let's call it what it is, Linda, is systematic manipulation. This isn't about just one family or a bank. This is an ecosystem of control. Connected networks of big tech, big pharma, big banks, big media, and big government. Their job is to shape how you think, how you spend, and how you feel. Your thoughts, Linda?
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. And there's more than that. He really is a man who has dedicated his life to exposing how the few control the many and how ordinary people like you and me can reclaim our power through understanding the system that you just mentioned.
Absolutely. It's really interesting because they keep you working harder for less, eating food that weakens you, scrolling through media that confuses you, and buying products that poison you. It's psychological warfare disguised as convenience.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, if we break it down, just think about it, Linda. Big tech controls the mind through algorithms, censorship, and distraction. Big pharma controls the body by treating symptoms instead of healing the cause. And big finance controls your time through debt, inflation, and it traps you in a survival mode. And big media, do I need to talk about that? It controls your perception, telling you what's safe to think. And of course, big entertainment controls your spirit, sedating you with endless noise So you stop dreaming. And you know what, Linda, just recently, um, the president is building a huge ballroom to the White House. It costs over 250 million, 250 million, and he is eliminating SNAP and Medicare for 40 million Americans for the month of November.
Insane.
And how does he
Insane.
get away with this? I don't
Well,
get it.
that's the question. How does he get away with it? That's the question. And when like we're living through this history now, in years when our children, our grandchildren are older, they're going to be asking that question. How come no one stopped him? How come no one, like, how did he have the ability to just run rampant? That's going to be the question. And that's the question that I have. I'm sure it is the same question that many of our listeners have. How is he being allowed to run rampant like a rabbit, like a rabbit animal, just running wild, doing crazy things? Can you imagine people losing their jobs? Like, it's just insane.
Well, the only thing that I can think of that really helps me to make sense of any of this is the fact that they have been planning this for a long time. And I'm
Mhm.
sure if people look up, for example, Project 2025 and how long that these evildoers, I have to say evildoers because that's what they are. It's evil what they're doing. They are attacking the most vulnerable. They're attacking
Absolutely.
people that are on SNAP and food stamps, and their mega cult, their response is, well, they should get out and get a job. Oh, okay. People with disabilities should get out and get a job. Veterans who fought for this country that are receiving SNAP and food stamps, they should get out and get a job. The elderly that are 65 plus and older, they should get out and get a job. What is wrong with these people?
Listen, not only that, there are people who are working two and three jobs just to pay the rent, which happen to be, rents are exorbitant today. They're working two and three jobs already with roommates, with doing cutting corners. So what are they supposed to do? The people in in leadership positions in this Republican system are so far removed from reality that they're just clueless.
I,
Clueless.
I
Food,
you know what?
food, the most basic of needs, food stamps, cutting SNAP.
Right.
Really? What's
But you coined it. I really appreciate what you said a while ago. You said that the people who are billionaires and the wealthy, they are what is it? Psychotic?
psychopathic?
Psychopathic. That's what the word was. And I truly believe that. They're drunk on power. And you know what? And I wouldn't put them past it if some of them are doing demonic rituals. They have to be. How can anybody make decisions to take food away from veterans, from the elderly, from families that can't afford their work? Let me tell you, these are as they call it, the working poor. These are the working poor that can't afford enough money to feed their families. And they're talking about, oh, won't they, people on SNAP and food stamp, won't they just go out and get a job? And I have to blame Reaganomics for that because he's the one that invented the queen. And the welfare queen was what? A black woman. So these stupid MAGA people who will go for anything are looking at SNAP benefits, Medicaid, and food stamps. Oh, we're going back to there's just black women trying to get. That's what they're equating that with, and they're not looking at the other possibility of who is actually taking these food stamps, SNAP, and
Exactly. Exactly.
etc.
There are far more white people on SNAP than any other
Right.
culture. And as because, we have this false narrative, people seem to think otherwise. But we encourage people to always do your research. Do your research. Don't take what we say as truth. Even the term psychopathic. Look it up. If the shoe doesn't fit, then oh well. But listen, concerned about self, concerned about wealth, motivated by greed. It doesn't make any sense that people are losing their homes in the government shutdown. Really? The president is supposed he prides himself at being a great negotiator. Well, obviously he doesn't care about the people who voted for him because many of them will be losing those food stamp benefits as well.
But you know what? Because of racism and hatred for black and brown people, they will still support that maniac. They will still support him. And it's unfortunate because they have been programmed to actually hate us as black and brown people. And they feel, oh, we're taking food out of their mouths. Well, stupid, it's coming out of your mouth too.
But
It's
you know
like I
what?
can't.
I know. But you know what? The ones who really are going to be impacted by this, they're not in the leadership. They're the like the worker bees for the people who are in leadership positions, and those individuals are not the people in leadership positions are not going to be suffering. They're not the ones getting food stamps, and they can afford to take care of their family and make sure that their family doesn't skip a beat. It's the worker bees who voted, who they persuaded, somehow brainwashed. They're the ones who are looking up to them for help, and they're gonna find there's no help there. There's
And do
it's
you
like
know that, yeah, do you know that, I didn't mean to interrupt, but do you know that recently, while you're talking about taking away people's food, that they actually, the federal workers, including the air traffic control staffers, did not get their paycheck. And now flying is going to, if you want
be
to take a
impacted.
chance and go fly, they're calling in sick. And the other piece to this is when you think about it, I was saying to myself, there's a lot of rich entertainers and there's a lot of rich sports people. I mean, they might be helping out under the radar. That might be the case because they don't want to be singled out. But just like I said earlier, entertainment is a way to distract us.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of because I'm saying these people that got money, won't they go to one of them food banks and give up some money? And it's just, for me, it's just deplorable.
Well, I was listening to a radio show, and this woman who runs the food bank in a major city was saying that there is no way they can support the capacity of people who will be coming, who will be in need as a result of these cuts that are coming. They're already at beyond capacity. There's no way that they can sustain the onslaught of people that they're expecting. It's so listen, but you know what? I think that knowledge can be power. Because knowledge is not always power. You can have knowledge and do nothing with it, and so it's meaningless. But knowledge can be power, and I think that Dr. Shriver, he's dedicated his life to exposing how the few control the many, and what we can do about that. Right? He
I
says
hmm No, go on.
he says that we live our lives are not chaotic, that our lives are engineered, that the systems that shape our health, our politics, our media, and even our minds are all interconnected, designed to benefit a small elite. And the part of that is keeping us distracted, right? Keeping us divided, keeping us dependent, worried about our next meal, cut food stamps, right? And
Hmm
it's a ploy to keep us distracted. That why is Peter Thiel in the top, I'd say top two or three most richest people in the world buying up farmland, all the farmland? For what reason?
Right.
What is
Yeah,
that
well,
about?
so isn't Bill Gates. I mean, all of them are because they figure you control the food, you control the people, and
There you
that's going to
go.
be the next step. That's really it. But you know what? I love what you said about the fact that we can beat it. And I just want to say, family, the human spirit, we were never designed to be owned. We were born to think, to create, to live free, and that's about it. And I think that's why we're having these no king protests. And people say, oh, well, what's the sense in going out in the street and things are still the same, that idiot's still in office? No, it's really helpful because, believe it or not, there are Americans, really good-hearted Americans, that really don't understand the seriousness of what's
Hmm.
happening right now. They
Yeah.
don't know. And as you mentioned, Dr. Shiva, he teaches that the world operates like a system. It's full of feedback loops and levers. If you don't understand the system, you get played. But if you understand how it works, you can reverse engineer your freedom. So, how to do this? How to deal with the elites? How do the elites maintain control over billions? Well, first of all, they're controlling information, Linda. Misinformation, censorship, half truths, all engineered to keep you confused. When confusion rises, people stop acting. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's right.
And
Um,
they, yeah.
no, the power, it's as you say, the power really, really, it's with it. It's in the hands of power. Never comes from the top. And what we, the people, can do to shift from being controlled is being conscious. That's the bottom line. Being conscious, being staying tuned in, staying awake, and being ready.
Yeah,
Because
I
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just one of my talking to my class, and one of my students had was really upset with me, saying that no democracy is being lost, and you must be anti-Semitic. Not saying a word about the Jewish community, not saying anything. But these are MAGA talking points. If you say anything about the government, you're anti Semitic, which means that is Trump and Peter Thiel and Seska, are they all really running the government? Or is Netanyahu doing that? I'm just thinking about APAC. I mean, I hate to come back to that because I know we want to get into solutions before we end, but let's get real. If you talk to the common man and woman, they'll say APAC? What's that?
mm-hmm,
APAC is a international corporation that buys Congress, Democrats and Republicans. They buy them so that they win the election and then they own them. And that's really a sad part of American politics. So we're
mm-hmm,
not being run. I mean, just think about it. Just think about it. All that money going to Israel and the Israeli people, they have free health care and we don't. They have free health care. We are bankrolling Israel and the Middle East. We're also making sure that Netanyahu and his IDF army have bombs that
mm-hmm.
have been actually unaliving 70,000 Palestinian people, men, women, and children. That's our tax dollars, Linda.
Yeah,
Those
that's
are
right.
our tax dollars. So we're not being run by American people. We're being run by Zionists. A Zionist is taking over TikTok, is
Mhm.
taking over the majority of the media. CBS, ABC. We talked about Jimmy Kimmel losing his job temporarily and he went back on air, but he wasn't in as many markets as he should have been. But that's what we're talking about. But we can continue on, but let's give the listeners some solutions. Let's talk about the solutions, not slogans, not politics, but practical steps that everyday men and women can take. And I just want to say, number one, reclaim your mind. Turn your phone off from a trap into a tool. Limit screen time. It's important because I have to tell myself that too. Follow independent thinkers like our show, Linda and I show Urban Empowerment Today and Confronting Injustice, which Linda has her own show, which I hope she talks about as we close. Um, Meditate, journal, pray, breathe. Stillness sharpens perception, and that's how you see through illusion. Do you have any other solutions, Linda?
You know what? I do. And this is not, and what I would say is do some soul searching, right? Do some soul searching and make sure that the narrative that you're putting forth is actually based in reality. We have been socialized from the time that we're born, from the time we take our first breath. And many of us have been brainwashed into believing a narrative that's simply not true. And you might say, well, listen, if you, it, whatever you do should make sense. Make it make sense. Trump has clearly demonstrated that he's, one, not intelligent, two, he he's just not fit to be in that position. Now, if you think he is, then look at the facts. Don't go by your emotions, because if you look at the facts, the man is a criminal. He's psychopathic. He doesn't even make the things that he's doing go against common sense, go against humanity. And so my invitation, or our invitation to you, is just check yourself. Check the facts. Don't let money or greed dictate your morality. Putting taking money and food away from babies and families is insane. It's inhumane. And if you agree with that and you can justify that in your head, something's wrong with you. You need a reality check. You need to just check yourself. Deb, I
Absolutely.
see this is herd mentality. The herd is running all in the same direction, even if they run off the cliff or they push somebody else off the cliff. Get out of that herd mentality. Just come on, like, man up, man up. And
Yeah,
people may not know what that means, but come on, exercise common sense and do the right thing, because it's the
that's
right thing
right.
to do. Don't be afraid of this bully. He's a
That's
bully,
right.
like, please. And most bullies are just cowards. Like, come on.
Well, I really truly believe I've been watching social media posts with retired generals and people that served this country who fought valiantly and kept our nation safe. And they are not happy. They are not happy at all. And one of the things that, the majority of them, it's like a consensus, they talk about the fact that they're urging the army and their fellow service men and women to obey the Constitution and
Yeah.
not an individual. And they're so afraid, just like, when Sescat, I can't never say that dude's name, Hefscat, whatever it is. Let me just say Evil S. I'll call him Evil S. When he addressed all of these talented men and women in the service, he was a disgrace, a disgrace. How he reprimanded them and pretty much told them to step in line. And he was talking about the enemy within, meaning us. But you know what? Well, I want to stay on solutions. Hescat, that's his name. Anyway,
Deb,
suggested readings.
Deb, let me just say this really quickly, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You know what this so-called this president is doing is going against the Constitution, clearly. And so the troops, a lot of all these moves that he's making, go if it goes against the Constitution, it doesn't matter if it's the president or anyone in his administration. If anyone is following the rules, like the ICE, they're going against the Constitution. So even if the president says go in here, detain, kidnap, whatever, they should be held accountable individually, because even though the president said it, they're going against state law. They're going against the Constitution. The president, and I guess my point is, the president, nothing he says supersedes the Constitution, period.
That
Nothing he
is
says.
absolute. You're absolutely true. And the other thing is, when it's so interesting because when it's because the government is shut down now. Do you know that he quickly passed a law so that ICE and the law and some of the folks would not they would get their pay?
Oh, that
Is
tells.
That's evil. That's
What does that? No, what does that say to the people who voted for him? Did he make that exception for them too? The people who voted for him out there, the MAGA people, did he
no.
make that exception for them?
No. I'm
No,
telling you, their hatred, they have programmed their people to really dislike black and brown people. But I want to get to suggestions since we have
absolutely,
about at least
absolutely.
we have about five minutes left, so we can talk about some of the solutions and some of the readings that I think would be worthwhile. The Power Elite by C. Wright Mills. Superclass by David Rothkopf. Requiem for the American Dream by Noam Chomsky, and Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows. These books are going to help you understand power like an engineer and not a victim. And the other piece to it, reclaim your health. You can't fight a system if your body is breaking down. Eat real food from the earth. Drink water as your medicine. Stretch, walk, sweat. Movement clears the mind. We're talking about true rest, not collapse. And remember, the same companies feeding you toxins sell the pills to fix you. Healing your body is rebellion. Oh, I love that. I gotta say that again. Healing your body is a rebellion. Cooking at home is resistance. A healthy body is a free body. And the last thing, and I'm going to let you have the last word, Linda, reclaim your finances. The system wants you trapped in consumerism, trading your freedom for debt. So create multiple income streams, learn basic investing and money management, buy from small businesses, not mega corporations, trade time for ownership and not dependency. Financial literacy is self-defense. Build your own table. Don't beg for a seat at theirs.
That's right.
Linda, we got 2 minutes left.
Listen, educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself. Connect with like-minded people. Set clear goals about what you want to do. Take small, manageable steps, right? But create small, measurable things. Do small, measurable things that will build momentum. But, most of all, stay in community with people who are forward-thinking, who are educating themselves and others. You don't have to go this alone. You don't have to do this alone. You don't want you to be in silence and fear. Yeah, be in community. And always use critical
Absolutely.
judgment. Always use critical thinking, critical judgment. So with that,
Right.
Deb, we wish our listeners well. We want you to leave motivated and uplifted, because this too will pass. But we want it to be we want to be moving. We want to be doing something that's progressive and helping people stay safe.
Absolutely. So, yes, a handful of elites may think they rule 8 billion people, but they have underestimated the greatest power in creation, the awakening of the human being. When the
There you
mind
go.
clears, when the body heals, when the community unites, their empire of illusion collapses. They control systems, but we are the system, the
That's right.
living network of divine intelligence. And once we reconnect, nothing can enslave us. This is Deborah Shariff along with Linda Solomon, and you've been listening to Urban Empowerment Today on WBCA 102.9 FM Boston. Stay conscious, stay courageous, and stay free. Until next time.
The preceding commentary does not necessarily reflect the views of the staff and management of WBCA or the Boston Neighborhood Network. If you would like to express another opinion, you can address your comments to Boston Neighborhood Network, 3025 Washington Street, Boston, Massachusetts, 02119. To arrange a time for your own commentary, you can call WBCA at 617-708-3215 or email radio@bnnmedia.org.